I forgot someone in Star Trek. Strange New Worlds learns Spock's biggest secret. For a show as character-driven as Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, it's remarkable how often its writers manage to balance episodic adventures with meaningful personal revelations. The series is a tapestry of exploration, emotion, and legacy, weaving together the classic optimism of the original series with the depth of modern storytelling. But recently, I found myself realizing something I had completely overlooked. Someone in Strange New Worlds already learned Spock's biggest secret, and I had somehow forgotten just how monumental that moment was. Spock's internal conflict, his battle between logic and emotion, Vulcan discipline, and human passion, is one of the defining elements of Star Trek lore. We've seen it play out in countless iterations, from Leonard Nimoy's stoic yet soulful portrayal to Ethan Peck's more vulnerable, evolving take. Yet Strange New Worlds takes that duality to fascinating new heights by showing us a Spock still learning what it means to exist between two worlds. And tucked away in that journey is a moment when one crew member uncovers something truly profound, something even Spock himself struggles to confront. It's not just about who learns the secret. It's about what that secret says about Spock's humanity, and how Strange New Worlds reframes what we thought we already knew about him. The secret, Spock's human half-exposed. For most of his career, Spock guards his human side like it's a vulnerability that could undo everything he stands for. In his mind, emotion equals weakness, and weakness is unacceptable, a failure of Vulcan logic and discipline. But in Strange New Worlds Season 2, that facade begins to crack in spectacular ways. The second season premiere, The Broken Circle, and later episodes like Charades make Spock's internal struggle external in the most literal sense possible. When a freak accident in Charades removes his Vulcan DNA and leaves him fully human, he's forced to experience unfiltered emotion for the first time. His temper flares, his laughter feels strange, his connection to Nurse Christine Chapel deepens, and for once, he's unguarded. But the most striking part isn't the transformation itself. It's that someone outside his closest circle witnesses it. Not just Chapel, not just Pike, but Commander Una Chin Riley, also known as Number One. She sees through Spock's careful mask and recognizes the one truth he's spent his life hiding. He's terrified of what his human side says about him. Una, the confidant Spock didn't expect. Una is, in many ways, the perfect mirror for Spock. Both are officers who live in constant tension between who they are and who Starfleet expects them to be. In Season 2, Una faces a trial that exposes her own secret. She's a Lyrian, a genetically modified species banned by Federation law. When Spock stands by her during that ordeal, it's not just an act of loyalty, it's empathy. He understands the fear of being othered, of being the exception in a universe that values conformity. Later, when Una learns more about Spock's internal conflict, especially after the events of Charades, she does something incredibly rare in Starfleet history. She gives him permission to feel. She doesn't treat his human emotions as a flaw, but as a vital part of his identity. This makes Una one of the first people in the modern Strange New Worlds timeline to fully understand the secret Spock spends most of his life wrestling with. His emotions are not an obstacle to his greatness, but the very thing that defines it. It's subtle, easily overshadowed by the romantic storyline between Spock and Chapel. But in hindsight, Una's awareness of Spock's duality is far more meaningful. She isn't drawn to him romantically, so her acceptance carries no personal bias. Instead, it's rooted in respect, empathy, and shared experience, a bond forged by mutual understanding of secrecy and shame. The irony of acceptance. Spock's journey in Strange New Worlds is steeped in irony. The more he tries to suppress his human side, the more that side emerges when he's under pressure. Whether it's rage, love, or compassion, his emotions surface in moments of crisis, usually when logic alone fails him. When Una confronts him after his human transformation, she doesn't just acknowledge what he's going through. She normalizes it. It's a quiet but powerful turning point. Spock has spent years being told by Vulcan society, and even his father, that his human traits are liabilities. Yet here, one of Starfleet's most decorated officers tells him that those same traits make him exceptional. This is what makes Una's understanding of Spock's secrets so compelling. She becomes, almost without fanfare, a mentor figure, someone who reminds him that acceptance is not the same as resignation. Spock doesn't need to fix his humanity, he needs to integrate it. A secret shared is a secret changed. Before Strange New Worlds, most of Spock's closest colleagues, even Captain Pike, only glimpsed fragments of his inner turmoil. In the original series, Kirk and McCoy become the two humans who truly accept him for who he is, but that understanding comes years later. Strange New Worlds retroactively deepens that dynamic by showing how others, like Una and Chapel, contributed to Spock's eventual self-acceptance. By the end of Charades, Chapel becomes the emotional anchor for Spock's humanity, but Una remains the silent witness, the one who knows but doesn't intrude. She carries his secret without exploiting it, and that kind of quiet loyalty defines much of Pike's crew. There's a poignant symmetry here. Spock's biggest secret isn't just that he's half human, everyone knows that. His real secret is how much he feels that humanity. He fears it, hides it, sometimes even resents it. But it's also the source of his empathy, his courage, and his sense of duty. And the moment someone else sees that and doesn't recoil, that's when it stops being a secret at all. Strange New Worlds makes Spock's secret matter again. What Strange New Worlds does so beautifully is restore weight to something fans might take for granted. By now, we've seen decades of Spock wrestling with logic and emotion. It's baked into his identity. But Ethan Peck's portrayal reintroduces the uncertainty of that struggle. His Spock isn't the calm, assured officer we meet in the original series. He's the younger man who doesn't yet know how to live with himself. So when someone learns his biggest secret, when Una and Chapel both see the unfiltered Spock, it feels monumental again. It's like watching a myth reborn. We are reminded that being half-human isn't just a character quirk. It's an ongoing act of bravery. Spock's secret in Strange New Worlds is emotional, not genetic. It's the shame of feeling too deeply in a culture that prizes restraint. It's the anxiety of being seen as too human in a crew of perfect officers. And in this show, every time someone accepts that part of him, he takes one step closer to becoming the legend he's destined to be. Why it's easy to forget. With so many standout episodes, musical experiments, courtroom dramas, time travel hijinks, it's easy to forget that Strange New Worlds is slowly charting Spock's emotional map. The series hides its most profound character moments inside genre storytelling. Charades plays like a romantic comedy. Ad Astra per Aspera is a courtroom thriller. Lost in Translation is a sci-fi mystery. Yet through all of these, Spock's secret identity, the fear of being too human, is the through line. When Una learns his truth, it's almost buried under the episode's lighter tone. But that's part of what makes it so authentic. Real emotional breakthroughs rarely happen with swelling music or grand declarations. They happen quietly, in the in-between moments, like a commander reassuring her science officer that it's okay to be different. The legacy of knowing. What's fascinating about Una's knowledge of Spock's secret is how it foreshadows the kind of command structure we see later in Starfleet. Kirk, McCoy, and even later captains like Picard and Janeway all champion emotional intelligence as a strength. The evolution begins here. Una's acceptance isn't just a kindness to Spock. It's a philosophical shift for Starfleet itself. The organization that once rejected her for being genetically modified now embraces diversity of thought and being because of people like her and Spock. By understanding and accepting Spock's dual nature, Una helps shape the very ethos that defines Starfleet in the decades to come.